Alright, tic-tac-toe, let's go. We have all the stuff here. Buttons, game objects, prefabs, some prefabs. For the tic-tac-toe, as far as functionality goes, you can see it right here. We have a score, we have an indicator on top of the X and the O to display whose turn it is. This, when I press play, it will show you. We have a rematch and restart button, and we have the actual game board itself. So here you go, the indicator's on top of X. If I click O to go on top of O, once a selection is made and a square is pressed, you can no longer select who goes where. You can only do it before first move is made. If we get a cat game like this, there's an invisible panel that pops up, or if there's a cat game or a win game, there's an invisible panel that pops up so you cannot click on anything else. And you can hit rematch to reset the game. If the player wins, it'll say who won at top, X won, and then there's a line going through the win combination. The score changes. If we hit rematch, it will change. Let's say X wants to go this time. There you go. But if we hit restart, the score resets. That is the core difference between the two. Rematch will not reset the score, but restart will. As far as code goes, I did reference a tutorial. There are notes, including the code for stuff that I was not sure how they worked right away, and I had to think about, or just for clarification for me, parts of code that I haven't used before. Here are the variables that we set up. Here's the actual game starts. Here's the setup thing. Everything sets to 0. The buttons that are able to be interacted with become interactable. Mark spaces is down here, or the variable is up here, but it is defined down here and defined right here. This makes it so that when a player selects a space, it cannot be selected by another player, even though the game's still going on. That way you can't change pieces. Here we have the tic-tac-toe button function. What this is going to do is it's going to make the buttons interactable or not, depending on whether they should be. It also changes the sprites used for them, the X or the O. Here we go. This is basically mark spaces saying like, oh, you can't touch that turn count, which you can see turn count if we go to game controller and we start the game. You see the turn count over here going up. If turn 0, it means it's X's turn. If it's turn 1, it means it's O turn. And if somebody wins, then not only does it say there, but it also says the console log. You'll see debug.log here in a second. If turn count is more than 4, then we're going to start doing a win check, which is going to determine if a player has won or not, because that's how many turns you would need minimally for somebody to win in tic-tac-toe. This changes the turns for the player X, other becomes player O, and otherwise it's player X's turn. These are all the win combinations for tic-tac-toe, all 8 combinations. We're ready to hold them, and then the actual check to see if the player has won or not. And this solution here is if X is given a variable of 1, value of 1, and we do 3 times. The turn plus 1, turn being whose turn it is, so 0 plus 1 times 3 equals 3. That means X wins, and if it's 1 plus 1 equals 2, because O is a value of 1, so 1 plus 1 equals 2 times 3 is 6, that means O wins. Here we have the actual display of the scores going up, and then not only is it visible in the inspector, but the player X or player O wins, so that the player visually sees it. Here's a rematch. It basically calls a setup because it resets the game. The only thing we don't want to do is resets the game and it removes that win panel so that players can interact with the buttons again. It makes everything interactive all over again. And then down here we call rematch because it's the same thing except we set the scores to 0. And this is the function that adds the functionality to whether or not the players can switch to X or O goes first. And that would be TicTacToe. If I haven't, I think I've already said it, but if not, I did reference the tutorial. The link for the tutorial will be in the description.